Welcome to Flourish, the podcast for faith-driven mompreneurs who are ready to release overwhelm, create sustainable, healthy habits, and build purpose-driven businesses aligned with their faith, family, and vision. I'm Stephanie Book, a transformational mindset, wellness, and business coach. I'm here to equip you with the tools, mindset shifts, and encouragement to help you flourish. If you're ready to grow a thriving life and business while staying aligned with your faith, purpose, and priorities, you're in the right place. You are worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Flourish podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I'm so glad that you are here. Today is 100 episodes. Woohoo! Like if there was fireworks, I would have them shooting up behind me. I'm just so excited. 100 episodes. And so thank you for those who have been joining me. Whenever you've dropped in, whether it's from the very first one or you're somewhere in the middle, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast. And I have been honored. And so I've absolutely loved being able to step in every week and share things that I'm learning and help you, inspire you to grow and continue to step into your greatness. So I'm so thankful that you are here and I get to celebrate this big milestone. So I thought, what would be better to do than to celebrate milestones today? Let's celebrate the different things that we have done along the way. I have mentioned this many times with the podcast before, how important it is to celebrate your success along the way. Not to give yourself like a pick me up. I mean, maybe it will do that, but really just so that you're recognizing the growth, because that's really what we're doing. As we're stepping in, we're celebrating the things that we've accomplished. We get to step in and just be grateful, be in that gratitude for the changes that we've seen, the steps that we've taken, the actions into fear, and all the different areas where we've seen celebrating. So I just want to jump in and say, let's celebrate together as we jump into 100 episodes with Flourish. My friends, before we go any farther, I just want to say, I want to make sure that we stay connected. There's lots of different ways that we can stay connected. And one of those great ways is to be able to be part of my community. Whether you are in my newsletter or you are in our Flourish group, I would love for you to be part of that community because community is so important. So I want to make sure that I personally invite you to join us. I have a newsletter that goes out every single week, and I don't spam your inbox, but I definitely like to share some what's coming on with the podcast, as well as other things that are coming up, like the Reset Your Mindset Challenge we just finished and the things that will be coming up soon. And also then our group that is a community that of places where we can lift each other up, encourage each other. And so I would love to invite you into that. So just make sure that you put, let's put news in the comments if you want to be part of that newsletter. And I have a special gift for you if you'd like to do that. And then put Flourish in the comments if you want to be part of that group. It's free, and I would love for you to be with us and continue to grow with us. All right, let's go back to 100 episodes. Well, with celebration, I was thinking about the different kinds of celebration that we walk through in our lives. And I was thinking about there's different types of celebrations, right? So there's the celebrations of milestones, maybe in a lifetime, like we celebrate when we have a birthday or an anniversary. Some of those things that we celebrate are things that are maybe that it's not something that we actually did, but more we just were or became, like we got older, so we celebrate a birthday or an anniversary. We have those milestones that are in our lives that we celebrate. But then there's other things that we celebrate where we've taken some risk or some action or some movement. And so we celebrate those wins along the way. And so that's why I said today I want to talk about celebrating and maybe recognizing a few things that I've seen along the way in my journey with the podcasting, but then hopefully open up your eyes so that you can maybe recognize some of the places you have also celebrated. So I was thinking about how sometimes we have difficulty celebrating, right? We don't want to bring a lot of attention to ourselves. I mean, some of us like to be in the limelight, but a lot of us don't want that. You know, we want to be recognized maybe for some of the things that we've done, but we don't want to be like in the limelight, or we feel uncomfortable celebrating ourselves because we don't want to look like we're flashy or like prideful or anything like that. But I think that there is a healthy way to celebrate ourselves. If you think about when a little child, when a kid, their birthday is coming, right? They are all about their birthday. They cannot wait. They know that it's going to be fun, that then maybe they'll get gifts, that there's cake, that there's fun, and the attention's on them, right? They don't care about whether or not they should be excited about it. They are just excited. It doesn't matter. There's a little boy at our church, and he was
was so excited about his birthday and what kind of birthday party he was going to have. And he was just so excited. He was just telling everybody, whether you knew him or not, he just was so excited about his birthday coming up. And that excitement is just so fun and it's infectious. But somewhere along the way, we lose that. We take away, some of it is growing up and knowing we only talk about it so much, but some of it is also we stifle it. Like we feel like we shouldn't be drawing an attention to ourselves because somehow we'd be, like I said, coming across like prideful or something like that. But really, we want to celebrate the things that we have done along the way, steps that we have taken, maybe movement that we've made, because one, we want to recognize the growth so we can be in gratitude, not just so we can have, oh, look at me, but like so that we can step in and be grateful, be able to notice the things around us, the ways that we've changed. And second, it will inspire other people maybe to take those steps, maybe inspire them to go forward and do something that maybe they didn't think they could have done until they watched you do it and complete it, right? There's lots of different ways that we can celebrate. And so I think it's important to do that. I will say that a lot on the podcast and in my teachings, in the courses, in my coaching. I will talk about how important it is to celebrate our wins. And I would always start my coaching calls with, what are we celebrating this week? They want to right away tell me the things that they didn't do correctly. And I'm like, no, let's talk about what we celebrated first. What did you do? What could we focus on that you did do well? Because most of the time we'll find those things that we did that we can celebrate, that we are proud of, steps that we made or decisions we made that might have been more difficult that we can celebrate. So, and I think there's a difference between celebrating and everybody getting a pat on the back. Like I know it used to be where, you got, if you were on a team, they would get the first place trophy and the second place trophy maybe, and then everybody else would be like, good job, great job. But now anymore, it seems like everybody gets a trophy for everything. It's like, well, you did a good job and you did a good job. Everybody gets a ribbon. Everybody gets a party. Everybody wants to be celebrated. And we want to celebrate in the team effort and we want to celebrate, but not everybody is winning. And so we want to be careful. I don't want to sound contradictory, but you can tell the difference between, I think participation, we want to celebrate our participation, but not everybody's a winner, not everybody wins the game. So I think that there's a little bit of fine line like that. And so sometimes I think even those type of situations can cause us to draw back and be like, well, I don't want to celebrate. But I'm talking about just maybe the celebration or recognition of the things that you have accomplished and be able to celebrate those steps along the way, because it takes action. It takes a step of faith to jump into something, to do something along the way that might have felt scary. But when we step back and we recognize and we celebrate those steps that we've taken along the way, then it helps us actually move closer to our goal a little bit easier. Because I think sometimes we look at how far away that goal is and then we feel like, oh, we're never going to make it. So when we have those little milestones along the way that we can celebrate, then it keeps us motivated, it helps us be grateful and be in that gratitude as we work towards the things that we want to accomplish. So I hope that helps you understand what I mean when I say let's celebrate those wins, because it's important to really take that time to just step in and recognize the things that you've done. It's okay. Like a lot of times we go to those goals and as soon as we hit it, we're like, okay, what's next? It's good to look at what's next, but we do want to take that time. We want to celebrate. We want to relish in what the things that we have done, the ways that we have accomplished things. So I hope that encourages you to take a little time. And so if you don't hear anything else, I would love to encourage you today to take those steps to reflect and look at the things that you can celebrate. What are the things that you have stepped into? What are those little millimeter steps that you've walked through that you can be like, wow, this is something that I did and this allowed me to grow. I'm so grateful for that. So write those things down. So for fun, I wanted to share a few things that I have seen over the time that I have started this podcast. So I started the podcast not quite 2 years ago because it's 100 episodes and so it's not quite there, but we're getting close, right? So I thought, what could I celebrate about 100 episodes? Well, one, being consistent and staying the course. So there have been weeks where I didn't want to record a podcast. Believe me, there'd be weeks where I didn't know what I wanted to say. I would spend some time in prayer and then I would hit record and just really pray that what I was sharing that would be helpful to you, because I do love doing it, but sometimes it's hard to know exactly what you want to share. And so I celebrate that I stayed consistent. And those weeks where it was really busy or I was doing a lot of things with my mom and helping her out, there was weeks where it was difficult to turn on that microphone and that video and say, okay, I'm going to share. But I can celebrate that I made that action. And maybe some of them weren't as great as others, but I still stepped in, I did that action. And so I want to celebrate the consistency. And if you've done anything for that long, that's worth celebrating. 100 weeks is a big deal to be able to do something, when you're creating any kind of goals or stepping into anything that you're doing, every day that you do that, it's like, wow, that's building that consistency and that growth. And so I want to celebrate consistency. So what is something that you have been doing that you can celebrate, something that you've been consistent in? Have you been consistent at showing up for your family and loving them and providing for them every single day? Have you been consistent in your health journey? Have you made great choices most days to work on your health? What about your exercise routine? Have you been able to do things that have given your body the exercise and the motion, healthy motion that it needs to keep your body healthy? Maybe you have made a commitment to read your Bible every day and you've done a really good job. You might have missed a day or two, but you have done that consistently. So celebrate that. What have you done? I challenge you. What is something that you've done consistently that you can celebrate? So that was one of the things I thought that is a big milestone, because when I hit record on that very first episode, I was worried that I wouldn't have enough to say. But then over time, it becomes easier and it becomes more clear of the things that I want to share and how I want to share it. And so I want to celebrate that. I want to celebrate that I stepped into video because I was terrified of stepping into doing a video podcast. I thought, nobody needs to hear that. No one needs to see me. I'll just do the audio podcast. And honestly, the video podcast it's been a lot of fun. I've tried different things. Sometimes I'll put a screen up, sometimes I won't, but I really enjoyed this. It feels somehow more personal. You can see my face. I was really worried, I'll be honest, that people would look at me and see me reading and be wondering like, well, she doesn't even know what she's talking about. But I love that I could just be real and honest with you and say, hey, this is me and this is what we're doing together. And it doesn't mean I haven't edited out a lot of bloopers, believe me. There's lots of bloopers. If I knew how to go back, or if I had the time to go back, I could have probably made an entire podcast of bloopers of times where I messed things up, where I got mad at myself on the camera and stuff like that. But it's been really, really a fun step to jump in and be on video. And that has inspired me because I was afraid to talk in front of people on a video. And so now it's easier for me to go live when I want to share things on Facebook or Instagram. I started my Flourish TV on my Facebook channel. So like, that's something that I step in every week and I share something. Is it perfect? No, but this has allowed me to step in and do that. And I just finished my challenge, like I mentioned earlier, that was something every day I showed up for 5 days in a row and did that challenge. And so being able to teach. So I want to celebrate that step into faith, to not just be behind my voice, but in front of the camera, and to do that. So that's a milestone that I want to celebrate. And so what is something I would challenge you to think that's something that you have done, maybe that brought you out of your comfort zone, whether it could be anything that was if there's something that's been difficult for you, but you stepped beyond that. And maybe it was a choice to step into your health journey. I would celebrate that. Maybe you decided to join a dance class and you haven't danced since you were little. Like that's a step into something that was scary that you did. And so what is that one thing that you can celebrate this week that you have done maybe over the last year or since the beginning of the year, or at some point that you want to celebrate, that you've stepped into fear and done something that didn't feel so comfortable, but you're so very grateful that you did. Another thing I want to celebrate is really having clarity of who I want to serve. I actually asked ChatGPT, what are some things that you've noticed in my journey? Because I thought it'd be kind of fun to see. It's really fun to kind of play around with ChatGPT. And I call her Amelia. And so I've really taught her a lot about me. And she knows how to help me brainstorm and bring things to life that are thoughts in my mind, and then it starts spinning me off of different things that I can talk about and say. And so I asked her, what are some things that you noticed in my growth? And I mean, she's a computer, she's a program, but I loved some of the things, and it was really spot on a lot of things. But one of the things she mentioned was clarity, that I really understand maybe who it is that I want to speak to. And I've always had it in mind who I think this podcast is for, or who my Flourish and Inspire, my whole business is for. But I've really become a little bit more clear on how I want to serve and what I want to do and who who I hope this is reaching. One of my most favorite quotes that, and I've shared this before, I'm pretty sure on the podcast, is by Rory Vaden. He says, "You are most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were." And the day that I heard that, I remember I was just like, I was in my car. I probably even talked about this on the podcast before. I think I was in the line to get a coffee at Dunkin', and I listened to it, and then I rewound it again and again. And I was like, oh my goodness, I sent a message to my friend, and I was like, this is it. Listen to this. This is amazing. That quote really resonated with me because I know that I wanted to talk to the person that I once was before I had stepped into my health journey. I knew that that was the woman that maybe didn't believe in herself, the person that wanted to grow but wasn't sure how to do it, knew that she wanted to have something changing in her life, but was maybe afraid to take those steps, because that's exactly where I was. And then the day that I took a step and reached out and asked for help with my health journey, my whole life was opened up to so many different things and to personal development. And I talked a lot about that in my Reset Your Mindset challenge, about how different my life had shifted when personal development came into my life. And I understood the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And so all of these things started to develop over the years. And really in this time of my podcast, with some training and some coaching and things like that, I've really come to understand more of who I want to serve and how I want to serve. And so you might have seen some changes even with my podcast. It was Flourish and Health, and now I just changed it to Flourish because I didn't want to confuse the audience, because yes, health is a priority, but I really want to help those that are connected to their faith, that maybe those people that are wanting to step into business of some sort. Maybe you're a mom, so a mompreneur, maybe that you're feeling overwhelmed and you want to step in, and you know that there is something in your life that you want to do, but you're a little hesitant, or you just need those tools or those skills or routines or maybe the habits to step into those things. And so I have that clarity now. I know who I'm talking to. And so I hope that this is resonating with you, and that my podcasts are reaching those that want to grow just like I do, the ones that want to maybe step in and really grow in their life and be able to do the things that maybe are there on their heart, but maybe we're a little afraid to step into it. So I hope that I can be an example and share my journey along the way so that I can encourage you to step in and do the things that you desire to do, give you that confidence. And I always end the podcast, you're worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. And I say success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. And that's because I believe that, but I didn't always believe that. So I want to help you understand that. So I want to celebrate clarity in who I'm sharing this for, but also just clarity on my passion, my purpose is of why I wanted to do this podcast. It's nice to have a full perspective of what I'm doing every week and why I'm sharing it. So I hope that you get that. And I would love to know if I'm totally off base and you listen to this and you don't fit any of that, then I'd be curious to know. But I just want to thank you, those that are listening. And I do hope that what I'm learning and what I'm sharing with you is helping you on your journey as well.
There's so much to celebrate when we see our progress, when we've watched ourselves step into fear and move into the things that we were afraid to do at first, but then we get to thrive in it, then we get to have fun with it. And so this podcast has been one of those experiences where I stepped in with a lot of fear, wondering if I was going to be able to talk about enough things, if anyone was going to listen to me, if I was ever going to be able to be on video, would I ever be clear enough? I remember so many days where I would be afraid to even have conversations with people because I would get my words all mixed up and I would worry about how I would speak. And now I speak all the time. And it's not always perfect, but I'm able to step in and use the gifts that God has given me to share what I've learned and be able to share it with you. And so I have enjoyed this podcast and being able to step in a little bit of fear and in that uncomfortable zone, but continue to do that each week. And then I'm growing so that I can do different things. And so I've talked about a lot of different advancements or changes that I've made, and we've talked about some of the changes that this podcast has gone through. And so hopefully as I continue to go on, that we continue to get stronger and I continue to become even more clear on my message and what I want to share with you. But most of all, is I always just want to be able to come and encourage you and be able to be a space where you can come each week and hear something that might help you reflect more on your life, on the growth that you are seeing, on your faith and in your business. And so I just am so grateful and excited that I have been able to come this far and that you have come along this journey with me. And hopefully there'll be many, many more podcasts on the way. And so a few things that I wanted to start talking about. I think I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the year, but hopefully about a month ago, I had my first official guest podcast. I had one other one where I had a couple of friends come and chat, so technically the second. But I had a great time with Jess speaking about like faith and business and how all of that aligns together. So it's been really fun to have the idea of having guests. And so I'll be looking for more guest episodes. Now, I want to still continue to be mostly a solo episode podcast, but that's something exciting to come in and be able to share some people that I have connected with, that I have learned from, or that we're growing together, or maybe they have something that they can share with you that I don't know enough about, and then we can learn together. One of the things that I've been wanting to step into is maybe bringing in a second podcast. Now, I don't want to do a podcast this length every single week, twice a week. I'm not really ready for that commitment yet, especially with the Flourish TV that is live on Facebook. So if you haven't watched that, write TV in the comments and make sure I can get you hooked up. And I always load those to my YouTube channel afterwards so that you can watch them there. And that's a little bit more business with a little bit of mindset. So you can definitely check those out. And if you are wanting to know more about business, that's the place that I'm really going to share the most about that. But this podcast obviously is having a little bit of its mindset, wellness, and business. That is where I'm going to focus. And so I'm excited. But this little series is going to happen every so often. So I'm not going to do two episodes every single week. So starting next week, you will hear the first episode of the first series that I'm going to have. Will be an extra episode in there, and we'll see how that goes. There'll be short episodes, probably only like a quick 5 minutes, but I'm super excited to have this. And so the first one is going to be the Flourish Affirmations series. So I'm excited to be able to share those with you through 6 weeks. So starting next week, we will jump in and you'll get to hear the series, and hopefully that will be an encouragement to you. And if you really like that, then maybe we'll do some more of those. So please let me know in the comments and reply. Let me know. Tag me on Instagram at steph.book and say, hey, I would love to have a mini series on this or that, and maybe I can add that in there. So it's been really fun to celebrate with you and stepping into those milestones. And I want to encourage you, as I've been celebrating, as I've been thinking back and looking at where I've been to where I am now and where I want to look to in the future, I want you to do the same in your life, because I don't want this just to be about me. I am celebrating something that I am doing today, but I want you to find ways that you can celebrate the things that you are doing in your life. And I could have shared a lot more things. And so I was going to do maybe 10 things that I could share with you, but I feel like I've already shared so many fun things about the growth that we get to see and what I've seen in the podcast and what you can see in your life. And so please, 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 I say this often, but please pass this on to anyone you think that would be helpful to. And please subscribe, do a like, tag me on Instagram that you watch this. I would love that for this 100th episode. It would be so, so cool if you would just tag me and say, celebrating 100 episodes with Stephanie, and tag me on Instagram. I would love to be able to repost that and be able to share that with my audience, and as a thank you to you. What I also would like to be doing is a little bit of a giveaway. And so starting now through the end of May, anyone that does tag me on Instagram at steph.book or their social media, you can do it on Facebook as well if you're there, or if you're on TikTok, wherever the places that you hang out. But if you tag me in one of those places and with a picture of you or a picture of me smiling or just of the episode, and tag me in it, you will go into a drawing. And at the end of May, I will do a drawing for a special gift. And so I will be able to give away a few of my favorite books. And so if you like to read, that will be really fun. I will let you have a choice if you really like audiobook or if you prefer physical books. So I have a little book bundle for every time you tag me each week over this next month. All your names will go in if you tag me, and I will do a drawing for a few of my very favorite books. And some of you that listen to this might even know what some of those favorite books are, but I would love to be able to gift one person with that. So I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you sharing. So friends, Please know from the bottom of my heart how grateful I am that you listen to me every week and that you share this time with me. I really, truly hope that I encourage you each week and help challenge you too to take those steps of action, to step into fear and do something, do that thing that's scaring you, because you never know. You might be 100 episodes later and think that girl that was scared to do something is now stepping into her purpose and doing amazing things. So friends, please know that you are worthy and capable of living that full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. Take care. Thank you for joining me on Flourish. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired and equipped to take your next step with confidence. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who needs this encouragement. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at steph.book and join our Facebook community of faith-driven women who are ready to flourish. Make sure to check out the show notes for all the ways we can connect and continue this journey of growth together. My friends, remember, you are worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. Take care.